I think it's also really important to acknowledge that I think it's like disrespectful for you to try to like switch our words around and say that this is irrelevant. And so it's clearly like you said, Nicole, a climate debate is so important, and so saying that like this is tied to so many things. And I think that we're responding to what you said, to some of the insensitive comments that you said, because I don't think that you're saying enough. I don't think that you're actually gonna take the steps necessary, because we need the party, we need this announcement in order to have the climate debate. And the climate debate is so that we can hold the candidates accountable, so that we can make sure that they're at the very least thinking about climate change, because like it clearly seems like it's not being brought enough, as was seen in the previous presidential debate or Democratic debate. So I think like we're trying to be clear. We're trying to say that we need a clear message. We need the Rhode Island Democratic Party to send a clear message that they're going to support the climate debate. I think that's what we're trying to do.
Not a problem. Like I said, I'm not here to make decisions. I'm the executive director. My job is to communicate how you guys feel to the chairman, to the vice chair, and the members of the DNC, and I will do that. And as I've said to you, I think that with respect to globally how those 4 members of the DNC feel about climate change, I think they understand that this is a super important issue. As I said, I think they all understand and have demonstrated the need to have climate change be a part of what we do here in the state. Certainly when I got here 2 years ago, for example, the language that we had in our platform around this issue was very, very vague. And we worked last year over the course of several months to strengthen that language, because we thought it was important that the party demonstrate that we're taking this issue seriously. And so I think it's unfortunate that you think that, that I'm being disrespectful, because I'm not, and I'm an ally. And that's why I started the conversation by saying, like, we're actually on the same side of the fence here. Because I think the Rhode Island Democratic Party understands this and is trying to do something about it. So I will communicate your opinion with respect to the presidential debate to the chairman and to the members of our DNC delegation. Like I said, in August they're going to a DNC meeting, and they're going to have an opportunity to have this conversation with thousands of their colleagues from all over the country. And I know that this is something that the DNC is paying attention to and is going to be a topic of debate, and we're going to work with our colleagues not just here in Rhode Island but from around the country to make sure that there is some action that's taken on this and that moves this thing down the field. 100%.
Excuse me, but do you have any evidence you could share with us that the Democratic National Party argued with the media or tried to pressure the media into changing their position that there would be no climate debate?
No, I don't. And I actually think this conversation is fairly unfair, because
Which conversation?
I think the conversation around any issue debates is a little unfair, and here's why. Because what the DNC's job is to create an organization that gets the next president of the United States elected. That's really what the job is. And in the process of doing that, they have to host debates around the country to give the candidates an opportunity to showcase themselves so that people can make informed decisions on primaries, right? And so going into this process, and I want to give Tom Perez, the Chairman Perez, a lot of credit here. We heard a lot of conversation 4 years ago about how our presidential debate process went and how people felt that it was fundamentally unfair. And so the DNC, before I think all but one presidential candidate had announced that they were in the race, before the DNC set very clear guidelines about what they were going to do for their specifically sanctioned debates, the 12 of them that I was talking about earlier. And we're now in the middle of, that we've got another one coming up in a couple of weeks. But basically, all the presidential candidates got on board. And that's also not stopping people from participating in forums and other mediums to have this conversation, because it is an important conversation. But I don't think, this is my personal opinion, that it's the DNC's job to dictate what issues are important. I think it's the DNC's job to set a platform, set a table for all of the candidates to have a conversation about all the issues, so that voters like you can make decisions about who you're going to support as the nominee of our party next year based on the information that you get. And so it's a little unfair, I think, to say we've got to have this only issue debate, because here's what happens. Then every other advocacy group walks into the DNC and they say there are other issues that are super important and we need to have debates on just those issues too. And it's impossible, in my view, to do right by your candidates, particularly as large as this field is and as diverse as this field is. It's really hard to say you've given them a real opportunity to put their best face forward if you're just doing issue-centric debates. That doesn't mean that these issues are not important.
We don't care about the candidate's best interest. We care about our best interests.
Well, the candidates have to be able to demonstrate that they can talk about this issue and all other issues.
This is an issue which affects all other issues.
Right. Where I grew up at in South Providence, okay, where I grew up in my neighborhood, gun violence prevention is a major issue. Some of my best friends were shot and killed in front of me on the streets of South Providence. So when gun violence advocates walk into the DNC and they say, you need to have a gun violence only debate, I think that's a debate that's worth having. Because I have seen personally the effects of gun violence in my neighborhood, on my streets. But I would not advocate that the DNC have a gun violence prevention debate, even as important as I believe that issue is. Because I don't believe that that's the best way to showcase our candidates, so that folks who agree with us on this issue and gun violence prevention and health care and affordable housing and civil rights issues, and people who disagree with us on all of those issues have an opportunity to understand who our candidates are, so we can do what everyone in this room really wants to do, which is make sure Donald Trump is not president in 2020. Because if you care about climate change, then you ought to care that Donald Trump is not elected in 2020, regardless of who our nominee is. And so that's the job, I think, of the DNC. And as I said, that's my personal opinion with respect to specific issues. It's not that climate change is not important. It is. But there are a number of other issues that are also important. The Voting Rights Act is also super important. We have people in the southern part of our country who are not able to cast their votes, who are having their names scrubbed off a voting list. As a matter of fact, if every eligible voter in the state of Georgia had an opportunity to cast their vote, Stacey Abrams would be governor in Georgia. So there are a lot of really, really important issues that I care about and that you should care about. And putting the DNC, just a minute.
This is our space and we're here to talk.
Actually, this is our office. Just a minute. No. This is not fair. You emailed me, you came to my office, you told me you wanted to have a meeting. You didn't say anything about signs, you didn't say anything about a demonstration, you didn't say anything about inviting media, which again, I don't have a problem with because Steve and I are good, but that's not the premise of the meeting that I was told that we were having, right? So I get that this is your time, you've had your opportunity, it's my time to respond to you. And if you don't like the response, that's okay, that's fair. But what I'm telling you is, we care about this issue. We care about this issue and we're going to do something about it. I can't tell you what the DNC is going to do. I can't tell you. As a matter of fact, I'm probably here to tell you that they're likely not going to listen, even if we agitate, even if we say something publicly, because the lens that they look at this through is a different lens than we look at it through. That said, the chairman understands this is an important issue. And by the way, Tom Perez understands that this is an important issue. It's not about the importance of climate change. It's not about the fact that Democrats don't get how important this issue is.